Yo, what's going on, CashSports family? How y'all doing today on this wonderful Friday? I hope you guys are all having a wonderful morning, a productive one, and got some good news for y'all today. We'll do something a little bit different for y'all. So, if any of y'all click the thumbnail or click the video, you already know what I'm finna get into today. I want to get into some betting odds because we are CashSports, so I do want to be able to give you guys the opportunity to know what's going on with these betting lines so you guys can do your thing. But before I even do that, I want to make sure that I am not responsible for your bets or your picks. I'm only here to give you, the betting lines, and then you can take from there. So I am not responsible for your winnings or your losses, especially your losses. You can give you a cut, if you win something, but definitely not your losses though. So I'm gonna just leave it at there. And then another thing before we tap in, please, like and subscribe to the channel. Like and subscribe to CashSports. I would really appreciate it. That help me out, because I want to be able to keep giving you guys content. I want to make YouTube a full-time job, man. I enjoy it. I love talking to you guys. So, like and subscribe. There's nothing much there. So let's get right into it, right? Let me click on this. All right. Okay. So right here, right? All right. So right now we're looking at the betting odds. You know what? Let me get rid of this. Here so you guys can get it. All right, so right here we're looking at the 2022 to 2023 betting odds, right? So I'm getting this from vegasinsider.com. I didn't get a chance to put the link in the description, but after this video is done, then you guys I'm going to put it in the description for you guys so you guys can look at it yourselves, and you guys can make your decisions, dictate anything else, right? So right at the top, man, it's pretty self-explanatory. So Luka Doncic is leading the curve for MVP next season, which kind of doesn't surprise me, because Luka's been MVP favorite for, I believe, for the past 2 seasons. So this will be his 3rd time as a favorite to win NBA MVP. And he's failed thus far, at least in the prior 2 seasons. As we all know, Nikola Jokic has won MVP on those days, on those times. But this year, I think Luka has he has a better chance this year. I think this is his best chance so far. But I think we definitely see Luka Doncic again MVP. It's just a matter of when and how, because Luka Doncic is, he's a fantastic player. He's a great player. Probably within the next 5 years or so, he's going to be definitively the best player in the league, or one of the best players in the league. But as long as those other players are there, hey, we may or may not know. Giannis could win another MVP, and Embiid can win his first MVP, and we still can't alleviate Nikola Jokic from winning MVP also. So so Luka, plus 450. That's the highest. That's the highest so far. So that's where Vegas got it. Next below him is Joel Embiid. So we've seen Joel Embiid. He's kind of stated his opinions on MVP before. So he kind of set it out for himself to try to win an MVP. And he felt as if he should have won MVP over Nikola Jokic this year. I think that's very subjective. I think last year, the MVP race was really tight. It was really close. Even though I felt like a lot of people felt like Nikola Jokic deserved it, I feel like he did deserve it. But the thing about it is, it was just really tight. It was just a really tight race. Nikola Jokic did have an historic season. In some ways, Joel Embiid had an historic season too, but I think with Joel Embiid, the only thing that really stops him from winning MVP is really just his health. So at least with that, it's a good betting line just based off the type of player that Joel Embiid is. Tapping in, bet. Thank you, bro. Thank you for tapping in. Hey, hit that like and subscribe while you at it too. So, all right. So with Joel Embiid, we're not really surprised that he's that high. I mean, if anything, I think with this year, I think that's people are going to look at Joel Embiid winning this title or winning MVP a little bit more this year. I think with the fact that he's just coming off a season where he scored 30 points per game, he had a really high usage rate. I mean, for the better part of the season, I mean, when Joel Embiid was playing on the 76ers or when he was healthy on the 76ers, I mean, they were kind of a title contending team. The only reason why they weren't able to contend a little bit further this year is because, James Harden wasn't necessarily playing all too well late in the season. Joel Embiid, after that, was getting hurt. So that, kind of prevented the 76ers and Joel Embiid to really compete, especially the fact that since they lost to the Miami Heat. But that being said, Joel Embiid is still a really great player. I don't think, I definitely think he deserves to be second on this list with MVP. And I think voters are going to look at Joel Embiid's year a little bit more closely since, he definitely came out, at least in that first series against the Toronto Raptors. I mean, he had an overtime game winner in the first round. Even though it was the first round, I mean, hey, he was still out there dogging. He was still trying to do his thing. So I could definitely see Joel Embiid winning MVP this year than any other year before. Now coming in at third is Giannis at plus 550, right? So with Giannis at 550, I mean, Giannis is always going to be in the race. Let's be honest. I mean, Giannis, Greek freak. I mean, he was unanimous. He was unanimous for all NBA first team. So that really comes from no surprise there. I mean, Giannis, for the better part, I mean, he's kind of like, he is the best player in the league so far, in my opinion, as far as who has the reins and, who's at the top of the hill right now. So I would still give that to Giannis with a couple players. I mean, I think Jokic is close second. Jokic is right there. Luka's right there. Embiid's right there. And then let's not forget about players like LeBron, and KD, and Steph. They're always in the mix. They can always win the MVP if you really so chooses it. And even with Steph too. If Steph didn't, kind of slow things down after that 3-point contest, or not the 3-point contest, after he broke the all-time threes record. I mean, hey, Steph could have probably won another MVP, but we all know that's probably that wasn't his goal at the end of the day. What he received and what he won is what he ultimately wanted to get, which was the Finals MVP, which meant a little bit more at this point in his career. So back to Giannis, right? Giannis is a young player. He's still a very young player. So he's gonna be MVP. He's gonna be in the MVP conversation every year. I mean, it's bound to happen. He's gonna be top 3. It's just a matter of who's gonna be in that list or not. Because ultimately, when it comes down to MVP, it's really gonna be 3, right? So it has to be 3. But yeah, I can see Giannis always being in that list for sure. I mean, come on now, it's Greek freak. Coming in at 4, right, is Nikola Jokic at plus 1,000, right? So a little bit lower. I mean, Nikola Jokic, in all fairness, every year that he's won MVP, I mean, he really was the favorite to win MVP. Last year, I think we can all say that it was probably well deserved. First year was probably a little bit different. Some people say that the only reason why he really won is because he played all the games, but you can't fault him there. I mean, shit. If he's playing all the games and the other players did not, I don't see that a reason to hurt him. But Jokic is always presentable. He's always there. He's always playing. So to have him there, especially over Kevin Durant, I think that's a fair assessment. Especially since Nikola Jokic, he's healthy for the better part of the season. So having him at 4 is definitely right in my opinion. But the thing about it is, I don't think Nikola Jokic wins another MVP this year. I think based off the past 2 MVPs that he had won, he's had some failures in the postseason. Some of it you can say is not his fault, but there's still some key things to kind of look at there. So I think bettors, or I would say the voters, sorry, So I think the MVP voters, I think they're going to look at Nikola Jokic's previous year very closely, and they're not going to bite on the analysts. They're not going to bite on these stats anymore. So they're going to look for something a little bit different from Nikola Jokic, because he's already won 2 MVPs based off his statistical years. And then with that being said, he was the sixth seed this year in the Western Conference. So I don't expect the player to be, lower than 3rd seed and then winning MVP this year, unless they have like another really crazy season. But that would have to be something out of the works. So coming up next is Kevin Durant at plus 1100, right? So Kevin Durant, he's one of those players that's always going to be in the conversation for MVP, right? Yes, sir. So Kevin Durant is always going to be in the conversation for MVP. Up until the point where he lost in the first round, he was being looked at as the best player in the world. And I don't think that title really necessarily is stripped from him. But I think, with the additional players, the younger players like Luka, Embiid, Giannis, Jokic, those players, they're younger, they play more consistent, so they have a better chance of winning MVP, just due to the fact that they play on a more consistent basis. I mean, you could probably say that about Joel Embiid. He gets hurt too, but Kevin Durant, he's still in the same ballpark. But if Kevin Durant has a full season, I'll say this though: if Kevin Durant has a full season, come on now, we have no other reason to believe that why he shouldn't be in the MVP vote. But let's see if it turns out that way, because there's still trade rumors going on. We still need to see what team that Kevin Durant, lands on. He was still even with the Warriors, and even then, those years when he won those championships, he still never won an MVP on those teams. So for good reason, though. So coming in afterward is Jason Tatum at plus 1200. I'm actually shocked, but not shocked. I'm kind of in the middle for Jason Tatum. As far as where he's at with his MVP betting odds, I think, coming off last year, he was an all NBA player for the first time in his career, been to the NBA Finals for the first time, as he's received the first Larry Bird Eastern Conference MVP. He had some mistakes in the finals. Come on now, it was his first real finals run. But with that being said, Jason Tatum is still young and a very great player with a lot of promise. And you can even say he hasn't really even hit his prime yet. So, and you can say this was probably the tip of the iceberg. This was probably him, finally reaching to the top. Because we could see a fiery Jason Tatum coming into next season. We could really see a different Jason Tatum based off what we've seen from the last season, and that says a lot, But like I said, this is strictly coming off my opinion. I am not responsible for how you guys take my assessment on some of these players and their chances to win MVP. But with Jason Tatum, he would definitely be an underdog pick for sure. He's plus 1200, so that kind of says it right there. So Steph Curry, right under him, with the same betting odds, is plus 1200. Hey, Steph Curry's always in that list. As long as he's playing and he's able to at least average 25 plus points per game, and he's making like over 200-300 threes in a season, I don't see why Steph can't win the award. I think what kind of stepped him back, in the MVP voting last year. He hit a little stride late in the season, but for good reason. It's a long season. Sometimes trying to get other guys involved. I think Jordan Poole was really putting his foot on the gas pedal. So Jordan Poole was trying to eat, and then even to a certain extent, Steph Curry was coming off the bench, and Jordan Poole was playing. Was starting at the one. So with Steph Curry, man, it's really not surprising that Steph Curry is in MVP conversation. Should he be under those guys though? I think to have Steph Curry right in the middle, I think that's kind of fair. But that clearly doesn't relate to his play and where he's at in his career with these other guys. But that says a lot though. So right under him too is John Morant. Recently just won most improved player, and he had one of the craziest seasons coming up previously. He became an All NBA player also. They lost the Grizzlies. He lost to the Golden State Warriors. And if he had played in those games that he missed against the Warriors, there's a very good chance that I don't say that they beat the Warriors, but they could have definitely made it harder. They could have definitely made it harder. So with John Morant, right? We've seen how electrifying he is. We've seen the type of player, and when you're an electrifying player, you always have a chance to win MVP. Think about it like this: with John Morant, it's almost Derrick Rose-like. With the speed, the quickness, to be able to the ability to slash and get to the rim, his dunking ability, his leaping ability. I mean, the only thing that John Morant is really missing from his offensive arsenal is really just being a little bit more consistent with his shot. He comes into this season, starts draining shots. He doesn't need to be shooting 40% from three. That's where people get shit twisted. As long as he can shoot maybe 35% from three and shoot maybe 47, 46 from two, have a decent enough average from the field goals, and then make at least 25 plus points per game while still getting guys involved. I mean, I see no other reason to pick John Morant as MVP this year. But definitely another one of those sleeper picks for real. But if you cash in on John Morant, you're definitely gonna cash in on the season. And then now somebody that's under him is somebody we haven't seen in a while play basketball. Kawhi Leonard, the glove, or not even the glove, the claw, right? So he's going to be returning to the Clippers this season coming up. I know he's been hurt since that, and he tore his ACL. But I've seen Kawhi Leonard recently. We've seen some pictures, and he's looking buff, man. He's looking like he's ready for the season. He's looking to be running over people, bro. He's gonna be dunking on people. He's gonna be showing people why he was one of the best players in the league. And with Kawhi being gone for so long, I mean, he's just going to remind people that, Kawhi Leonard is really just one of those people that just need to continuously play. It's his health that hurts his chances, and he just falls in that category. And I think that's why he's so low. It's just it's the fact that he just doesn't play a lot of games throughout the year, or he misses a lot of games. So if you alleviate the fact, maybe if Kawhi Leonard comes into this year playing, at least 70 games in the year, I think for the MVP, you at least got to win at least 70 games in order for you to even be able to compete. In order for you to be even able to compete for a title, I mean, for the MVP. So that being said, really he has to stay at work. No sick days, Kawhi. So coming in under him, right, is LeBron James. LeBron James at plus 1,800. So LeBron James, man, he looks like he's in the middle of the pack, man. And honestly, I think it's fair, even though he could win it. But I definitely think it's fair. Do I think he should be under, John Morant, Jason Tatum? Not me personally. I would have LeBron James a little bit higher. But I would look at LeBron's season and I would keep a real close eye on it. If you don't bet on LeBron before the season starts, I definitely say pay a close attention to how he's playing. Maybe make that bet maybe a quarter into the season. Because I definitely think with LeBron could win the MVP even in his 20th year. Hey, I'm not knocking it, man. I'm not gonna look at that and say LeBron is not gonna win an MVP. I'm not gonna throw that out the window just yet, even though it's his 20th year, because he can come in. Hey, he just came up averaging 30 points per game in his 19th season. So if he can come in, do the whole thing what he did in 2020, where he averaged 30 points, right? And if he can, let's say he averages a little bit less points, like maybe 25, 24, around the time he did in 2020, and then leads the league in assists again, or if he really, like they say, run the offense through Anthony Davis, I think that would really be that spell for an MVP season for LeBron. And some people even say that he should have won MVP that 2020 year. But hey, we just gonna leave it at that. Let me scroll this down a little bit though. Right. So coming in under him, right? Let me add my guy, man. Hold up. Let me add somebody in. Yo. Yeah, what's up?
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yo, what's up? My timer didn't work. I don't know why.
No, you good. So, yeah, I was just talking about betting odds for MVP for the next season. So I already passed LeBron. I'm at Devin Booker right now. So you can just kind of follow along. I kind of already went on the spiel about the guys at the top. So Devin Booker at plus 28, right? 2,800. But Devin Booker, I could see it coming into this year. I definitely wouldn't say he's at the top for MVP favorite. Now, can he win it? Yes. Is he an underdog? Yes. But coming off the season he just had, it wouldn't surprise me if he can, bump it up a notch and have an MVP performance this year. All it takes is if Devin Booker can slightly increase his averages. Let's say he averages 27 points and 6 assists and maybe 7 or 8 rebounds. I mean, hey, that could spell for MVP season for Devin Booker, as long as the Suns remain at the top of the Western Conference.
Man, Devin Booker is definitely going to be top 5 in MVP run next season, but to say that he's going to be the one to win it, not sure he's got what it takes to do that.
Well, I disagree. I think he does have what it takes. I think if you're an all-NBA player, I think that right there already shows you that you have what it takes to win it. It's just a matter of just the competition that you're facing. Like I said, it could have been a toss-up, right? So, like I said, in previously in other seasons, let's just say this season, right, with Joel Embiid and Nikola Jokic and Devin Booker, or even Giannis, right? In any other season, Devin Booker would probably win MVP.
Yep.
He would win MVP because he had the top seed. He was the best player on the best team, right? So a lot of people do tend to favor in that direction. So he could have won it. He really could have won it. You know what I mean? So, but obviously, we already know the situation with Jokic. He had a legend. He had a historic season. So we kind of leave it there. So coming in under him, right, is Trae Young at plus 4,000. Definitely in the underdog spectrum, right? I don't see Trae Young really being in the conversation for MVP. But that doesn't mean he's not an MVP like player. He puts up MVP stats. He has the heart of an MVP. That just speaks on what type of player he is and how we look at Trae Young. I mean, Trae Young has been a guy who can lead his team in points and assists. He's put up phenomenal stats in points and assists. The only thing with Trae Young is what really kills him is that the Hawks need to have a better record for them to even be in the conversation to win MVP. Because I don't think it's Trae Young's play. Even though Trae Young is not really a defensive-minded player, his offense can still take him a long way. And I think way down the line, maybe in his 7th or 8th season, maybe we can start to see Trae Young be in that conversation a little bit more. But the Hawks just up their team. They just added DeJounte Murray, so we'll see how the Hawks play out. We got to see how good they play. But I don't think it's Trae Young's play that's going to prevent him from winning MVP. It's his team's success that's going to be integral to his MVP success.
Well, you said pretty much what I would have said. So I would say about the next guy, my boy AD. Well, AD, man, like, AD can put up MVP numbers. We all know that he should be the best player on the Lakers. But the thing is, he can't stay healthy. And he likely won't be healthy next season. He'll be missing a lot of games next season. And therefore, he won't be able to run for MVP or do anything for the Lakers.
All right, so Anthony Davis right at plus 4,000. I think that's a good bet. I think Anthony Davis is a really good bet. I think you can cash out. Obviously, it's big risk, big reward. With Anthony Davis, obviously, the biggest factor is his health. But with his health, right, you still gotta look at his play, and with everything that's going on in the season, right, and what's being stated by Darvin Ham and saying that they want to run the offense through Anthony Davis, I think that's going to set up Anthony Davis for a lot of success. Because I mean, we've seen in the past, we've seen pick and roll with LeBron and Anthony Davis. So I'll give Anthony Davis the benefit of the doubt. I'm not going to go into the season every year and say, he's going to get hurt every year. I mean, yeah, the possibility of him getting hurt is definitely there, but I'm not going to just be quick and say, he's going to get hurt every year. Like, let's at least during that season, let's give him the benefit of the doubt until they do. At least that's my mindset on it. Until then, I'll definitely say Anthony Davis is definitely probably the best big risk on this list so far. I mean, because he's under Trae Young, Devin Booker, LeBron James, Kawhi Leonard. I mean, Anthony Davis could have another big season, and he could have that season that we're all looking for. So that's my take on that. I think
Well, but I didn't say that, but I think he is too high. He should be at like plus 7,000. Like,
less 7,000.
Yeah.
Anthony
Look at all
Davis?
these people after them. We've got Karl Anthony Towns, who's definitely a better center than him right now. We've got Paul George.
But he's not
James
above
Harden.
him. He's not above him. Neither James Harden. Neither any of these players, bro. All right, now you being really hard on Anthony Davis now, bro. Come on now, because even last season, he was getting hurt. Last year wasn't his best year, but despite all that, bro, Anthony Davis is still a top 5 talent in this league, bro. You get what I'm saying? Like, all these other players, like even Karl Anthony Towns, like, come on, bro. You know what I'm saying? In order, like I said, in order for you to even be able to win an MVP, you got to be at least top 5, a top 5 seed. You really think the Timberwolves are going to be above them? You think, you know what I'm saying? Come on now, bro. Like, let's be honest. You know what I'm saying? That matters too. You're seeded. You know what I'm saying? So Lakers have a better chance of having a higher seed than Timberwolves. And even though Karl Anthony Towns is a really good center, but Anthony Davis doesn't play center. You know what I'm saying? He's not a center, bro. He plays more so the 4. So you got to measure him at the 4. Now, if you're talking about Giannis, then that's a completely different story. But if you talk about any other player, right? Like, nah, man, I'm not gonna put a lot of players over Anthony Davis, especially coming in fresh. Come on, man. I'm not gonna take that away from him, bro. We've seen Anthony Davis do some things, and so I'm gonna relate off that, because if we're talking about play for play, I'm still putting Anthony Davis in that conversation, bro. So that's that. So coming in under him, right, is Damian Lillard, right, plus 4,000. Oh, you know what? It's even at Jimmy Butler too, right? So Damian Lillard and Jimmy Butler is plus 4,000 on betting odds. Don't really expect it. Don't really see it. I mean, Damian Lillard sustained with the Trailblazers. I don't really see much coming on his end, even though I can see him really having a fantastic year as always, because Damian Lillard is a fantastic player. But no, I don't really see that happening. And I don't think that's an indictment on either Damian Lillard or Jimmy Butler. You know, there's just a lot of great players on a consistent basis, and Jimmy Butler is more of a playoff performer than anything. If anything, I could see him winning the Larry Bird Eastern Conference Finals MVP. I mean Eastern Conference Finals. Yeah, Eastern Conference Finals MVP before I see him winning MVP for sure. So if you're betting Jimmy Butler, that would definitely be a horrible bet. Jimmy Butler and Damian Lillard, yeah, don't do that. Don't do that at
all. I think you're underestimating Jimmy Butler right now.
Oh my God.
Jimmy Butler, he's a triple-double machine, bro. What he's gonna bring next year, I think people should be scared of the Heat next season.
Bro, there ain't no way in hell Jimmy Butler is winning MVP, bro. You're out of your mind, dog. MVP. Jimmy Butler is not even going to be close to winning MVP, bro. And that's not me saying, that's not even me saying Jimmy Butler's a bad player, bro. Like we just gotta look at it realistically. Jimmy Butler he's not a fantastic shooter, right? In that spectrum. So that's that. You know, that does hurt his game to an extent in his scoring average, right? Because Jimmy Butler's not the best scoring. He's not the best scoring average, right? But then that being said, man, I've already stated with Jimmy Butler, bro, he's not a regular season player. It's kind of been proven before. Jimmy Butler is set for the playoffs. I don't even think he cares about MVP. You get what I'm saying? Like, in order for, like, if you want to get MVP, sometimes you have to really, like, you gotta play your ass out. So you're telling me you're gonna see Jimmy Butler win it above Giannis, Luka, Joel Embiid, Nikola Jokic, Kevin Durant? Come on, bro. Like, let's not. No, bro. That's not happening. This is not, bro.
We'll see.
I mean, you could bet it. You could bet that line. I'm not. You could bet that one for sure. Go ahead. All right, so coming in right at under him is Karl Anthony Towns at plus 5,000. Reason being why he won't win it is what I've said before. Timberwolves need to be a lot more competitive. In order for them to even be somewhat competitive, they have to be willing to. They need to play better. They need to have a higher seeding. They need to at least be top 4, top 3 in seedings, right?
I mean,
yeah,
they got to the playoffs. That's all that matters. As long as you do that.
Hey, was you able to hear me that whole time?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So with Karl Anthony Towns, he just needs to. They made the Timberwolves. They made some moves to pick up for Rudy Gobert, which I think is really going to help them out in the future. Because I think that makes his team way more competitive. But no, I think it's a bad bet. I don't think Karl Anthony Towns will MVP. So I'm just kind of leave it. I'm going to leave it right there. You have anything to say in regards to that?
No, I think Cat is right where it's at. As long as you make the playoffs, you're good to run for MVP. That's all that matters.
No, that's
the playoffs.
Nah, bro, that's not how that works, bro. It's not how that works. You taking your team to the playoffs is not good enough for MVP, bro. You have to be the standard for MVP is damn near. You have to be at least top 4 seeding, and you have to be the best player on those teams. Like if you like, it's a rare occasion where you see a player lower than top 3, top 4 seeding, and then still win MVP. You get what I'm saying? Like you have to be at least a really good team and then still win. Be in the playoff, because that's like saying an HC team yeah, they made, or a 7th seed team can make it to the playoffs, and then that player, the best player on that team, can still win MVP. Absolutely not, bro. That's not how it works. Not in the slightest. So Zion Williamson, right? He's another plus 5,000 player. Honestly, I mean, it's still a bad bet in my opinion. I wouldn't do it. But I wouldn't. I can see Zion Williamson, being a lot higher down the list, down the line. So Zion Williamson definitely, I think he could win the MVP further in his career. But this season, I don't think this is the one to really look at it and be like, okay, this is the year where he does
this. We haven't seen what Zion's going to come out of his injury, so I mean, clearly he's not in shape right now. Otherwise, they wouldn't literally put on his contract the weight gap.
I mean, I wouldn't say he's not in shape right now. I've seen pictures of him. He's in shape right now. That was kind of the point of the clause. Why they put it in there, so he can, so he should be in shape, so he can be in shape. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, you gotta be updated on that, man. I just seen Zion is in shape, bro. He's ready. He's ready for the season, bro. Training camp is approaching. You should be in shape. Honestly, with basketball, you should be in shape now. That's what I'm saying, before the training camp. So a lot of great players, they stay in shape. Now that hasn't been the case for Zion. Yes, in the past, he's had some weight problems. That's the reason why they have the weight clause. But going into this season, from what I've seen so far and what we've seen Zion doing during the off season, he's definitely in shape. He's definitely ready to go. He's definitely going to play, right? The injury bug is always a question for Zion. But I mean, hey, it's still really great to see one, Zion play basketball. And two, see how good and how far he can have. He can be in MVP conversation, but will he ultimately win it this year? No, I think the competition is way too steep, and Zion would really have to stick out. Like, he would have to do something really amazing for him to win MVP, and the Pelicans would have to be really competitive in order to do that, which I think they can. I just think that's very unlikely, at least so far. So coming in after that too is Anthony Edwards, Ant-Man, the Ant-Man from Minnesota Timberwolves, right? Another one. I wouldn't really bet on it, but you guys, for your guys' purposes, I want to keep it at plus 5,000, right? Don't really see him. I mean, Timberwolves are the Timberwolves. Same reason I said it's Cat. But Anthony Edwards, I can see him doing some things, man. I can see him doing some things in his career. I see all NBA selections in his future. He's definitely an all-star in the future. So we'll just have to wait and see on that. As far as MVP votings go, I think he's pretty far from there, but he's very close to at least being in the conversation for MVP. So I think with Anthony Edwards, I think it's a year-by-year, case-by-case basis. You got to take it. You got to look. You got to look at it as a grain of salt. So every year, I would just keep an eye on Anthony Davis, and he could be in that conversation as the years go on. But we'll have to see on that. So coming in after him is Paul George at plus 6,000. Right. He's been in the conversation for MVP before, but I don't see him. I don't see him winning an MVP in his career. I just don't see it. Even though Paul George is a really great player, fantastic player, he's a great player to have as a number 2, as a 1B, and he complements Kawhi Leonard. But I'm picking Kawhi Leonard over Paul George for MVP voting, and I think that leaves it right there.
Yeah, I agree. PG's a great player, but if it's going to be someone from the Clippers, it's going to be Kawhi, not PG.
So another player, James Harden plus 7,000, right? So very, very low odds compared to the rest. For somebody who was a former MVP, uh, right? So James Harden, man. Honestly, with James Harden, coming into this year, I wouldn't bet that money now. But going into maybe a quarter into the season, I think you look at James Harden really closely and tell yourself, does he have a chance to? And depending on how good the 76ers are. Because I've seen James Harden, he's in shape, which is a very big plus going into the season, right? So with that being said, if James Harden can just stay healthy and go back to somewhat of that James Harden that we've seen on the Rockets, maybe if he can up that points per game average and still keep the assists and the rebounds, I don't see any other reason why James Harden can't win MVP again. I think it would still be really close, though, considering the level of competition. I think, Luka is still going to take, maybe get ahead of him. Giannis is 100% fact going to be ahead of him. I think the previous MVP, Nikola Jokic, would more than likely probably be ahead of him. And not to mention, too, can't forget about the player that he's playing with, Joel Embiid. And then so he'll be on the foreground of that too. So it's really low. I wouldn't bank on it, but I would say definitely keep an eye on it, because if James Harden is really balling the way he's supposed to for a long period of time, hey man, I don't see no reason why he can't be in that conversation.
Yeah. But you know what my boy would say about this pick? Put all your savings, all your money on James Harden.
Yeah, and that's why I wouldn't have him on here, because then he would get sued for by people for making him spend all that money on that dumbass bet. So coming in lower than him, right? Plus 8,000 is Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell plays for the Utah Jazz. I mean, I don't really see anything happening with Donovan Mitchell. When was the last time an MVP came from the Utah Jazz? Let's be honest here. So I don't see it really happening. Even though Donovan Mitchell is a really great player, man, I would love to see Donovan Mitchell win an MVP. But I just don't see it happening in the near future, bro. I just don't see it, especially with everything, with all the talent going around. Like Donovan Mitchell would really have to have like a crazy breakout year. Like he would damn near have to average like maybe 27 or 30 points a game in order for him to even be in that conversation. And an all NBA vote, first team voting. Because the only way you can win MVP, you got to be all NBA first team, not second team or third team. You have to be first team. So
he can have an MVP run as long as he's not in Jazz.
He can be on the Jazz. I think it's more on him than it is on the Jazz. It's just that I don't see him winning it, because the Jazz, based off with the move that they just made, I don't see them being as competitive. Like before, he had a chance, because the Utah Jazz, they were higher in the Western Conference seeding. But even then, he wasn't really the MVP favorite. So with that being said, we'll see where Donovan Mitchell's career takes. But as of right now, I think it's still too soon to call on whether Donovan Mitchell is going to win MVP. So coming in under him, right, is DeMar DeRozan at plus 8,000, right? Actually, let me go over the couple people that's already 8,000. So DeMar DeRozan, Bradley Beal, Melo Ball, and Chris Paul. So all those players are plus 8,000, right? Those guys, pretty self-explanatory. I don't think they win an MVP, but it's still good to at least tell you guys about some odds, whether you choose whether they qualify for you or not. But they're still great players. DeMar DeRozan had a really efficient season last year. I think if he were to keep up what he was doing last year, what's to stop him from winning MVP this year? If he were to do the same exact thing. He was really clutch. His efficiency rating from mid-range is really high, and that's really valuable for a player. To have in playoff season, in the postseason. I can definitely see DeMar DeRozan cooking up. I could see him being maybe top 5 in MVP voting if he were to repeat what he did last year. But that being said, I think he kind of deserves to be where he's at. I think it would be a good bet, maybe if you would like to say if he had a chance to be in the MVP voting, but I think he's right where he belongs.
I agree.
All right. And then so with Bradley Beal, yeah, not gonna happen. LaMelo Ball, nah. Chris Paul, way too old and not gonna happen. So yeah, those players it's pretty slim pickings at that point. But for the most part, guys, the lower we get on this list, I mean, you guys obviously know, like it's gonna be more slim pickings when it comes to NBA MVP. The lower we get, it's gonna get lower and lower. But damn, man, these are a lot of players. So I'm gonna just be a little bit more realistic. I think I'm gonna have a cutoff. I'm gonna leave the cutoff at. I'll leave it at Zach LaVine. So Zach LaVine will be the cutoff. Zach LaVine at plus 12,500, right? So let's leave it right there. We could do that right there. Let's go back. Okay. So plus 10,000 is Pascal Siakam on the Toronto Raptors. Plain and simple, I don't see it happen. Great player, I don't see it happen. I don't see him winning MVP. But it's nice to know that he still has some betting odds, you know. So, but no, I don't really have anything to say on Pascal Siakam and MVP.
But he's going to be in the talks.
No,
he's not going to win it, but
no, he won't be in the talks. He won't.
Oh, he had a fantastic season this season.
No, he did. He just won't be in the talks, though. I guarantee that he won't be in the talks.
Probably not.
So, I'm just being realistic here, bro. You feel me? So, like I said, in order for you to be in the talks, like what qualifies being in the talks? Because you have to be in the talks is top 5. That's in the talks, right? So based off the odds we've already seen, like we've already Luka, Embiid, Giannis, right? Jokic, Kevin Durant, right? Ja, and if you look at ESPN MVP voting, I don't even think Luka was Jokic wasn't even top 5 if I'm not mistaken. I was looking at yesterday when I was looking at the ESPN voting. I would try to get it on here for you guys, but you know, watching ESPN and it just came on, but I couldn't find it on their website. So the ESPN playoff projections, they had it at in Kawhi too. Giannis, 43 points, 33%. Joel Embiid, 40 points, 33%. Luka Doncic, 40 points, 22%. Kawhi Leonard, 6 points, 5.6%. And then John Morant had the same. Points, 5.6%. And then Steph Curry had 14.0 place votes in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, so in the conversation, no, I don't see Pascal Siakam taking it. Now, if he were to be in that conversation, then that would be an upset. You know, that would be very surprising to see. You know, because that would ultimately mean that he's freaking having a breakout year. You know, you can leave that there, right? So coming in at number him, the man, the myth, the legend, the Uncle Drew. You already know, man. It's Kyrie Irving, right?
No, so that's Kyrie just disrespectful.
How is it disrespectful, bro? Explain.
You can't possibly have LaMelo Ball and CP3 above Kyrie Irving.
I mean, the reason why Kyrie Irving is so low is because you brought up injury in the past, right?
Yeah.
So wouldn't that apply to somebody like Kyrie Irving also? And he plays less games, so at least with the other players, at least they play basketball on a consistent basis. I mean, but this year I'll give Kyrie Irving the benefit of the doubt, right? Because he's looking for a contract. He's looking for another contract. He's looking, he wants another max deal, right? So let's be fair and say that I expect Kyrie Irving to come out this year and play some really great basketball this year. Only thing is obviously the injury factor because Kyrie Irving is still an injury-prone player. So I think that's what has him so low. But give or take, I think this is a sleeper. This is a sleeper pick. But I wouldn't pick Kyrie going into the season. I would pick up this Kyrie Irving bet probably mid-season, or probably by mid-season. By mid-season, that's when I would start to get serious about Kyrie Irving being an MVP vote, because at that point he should be in the conversation to win it, because we know Kyrie Irving can put up some really fantastic stats and that he can be in the conversation for MVP voting. He averaged 27 points before. He can be a player to shoot 50, 40, 90 from the field. So only thing is, it's just the fact he has to do that on a consistent basis, bro. Like, you can't play 30 games and then have those stats, bro. You have to give way more, bro. Like 30 games is not enough, bro. It's not even close to enough, bro. You can't. That's not even. That shouldn't even be in. You can't even be in a conversation playing 30 games, bro. So yeah, Kyrie Irving, in order for him to win this, bro. So here's the thing: in order for Kyrie Irving to win this, he has to play at least 70 games. You think Kyrie Irving's gonna play 70 games?
Probably not.
Yeah. So that's it right
now. Actually, you see, the issue with last season was because they didn't allow him because of the whole COVID thing. But this is next season. That's not gonna be an issue for him. So
I mean, you don't know that though. There's still a lot of things going on in the world, and even though they said they didn't let him, I mean, bro, there still needs to be some accountability here, bro. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's not about they didn't let him. He chose not to get the vaccine, bro. You get what I'm saying? It's not like he, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, he chose not to get it. So, and I'm not here advocating whether he should have gotten it or not. I'm just stating what happened. You get what I'm saying? Because you're not giving credit to those players who got the vaccine, in sacrifice of the season. Remember, James Harden and Kevin Durant, they got the vaccine when they needed to. So they played when they needed to. So we're not going to sit here and be like, oh, well, they didn't win it because they didn't let him. No, Kyrie Irving made a very conscious decision to be like, I'm not going to get the vaccine, so I'm not going to be able to play. And then so he chose to play. He chose to put that option on and only play away game. And that's we're the only ones to say, oh, no, we're not having it. And then ultimately they kind of just sunk in because they needed, motor, some type of motor in the middle of the season. So, but yeah, in order for Kyrie Irving to win this, he needs to win. He needs to be playing for at least 70 games minimum for even that to happen. And then so coming in under him, right, it's DeJounte Murray with plus 10,000, right? Same odds as Kyrie Irving. Led the league in steals. I don't really see him really winning an MVP. So I mean, he's a great player, but I don't see much coming from old buddy. Even though he's really good, but I just don't see him winning MVP.
Not over Trae Young.
Yeah, I mean, not over a lot of players, to be honest. Not over Trae Young, not over Steph, not over Luka. Come on, bro. Then Trae Young is just one player, bro. What?
Yeah, but it's his teammate.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. But I mean, even with Trae Young, bro, Trae Young still has a lot of questions on his end. There's a lot of questions on whether Trae Young can even win an MVP. He has the skill and the capability to win it. But I agree with what you said. Like, yeah, if there's anybody that's gonna be MVP on that team, it has to be Trae Young. It's gonna be Trae Young from that team. But even then, Trae Young, that what I stated before, that has to be like maybe within his 7th, 8th, even 9th year in the league. And even at that point, we gotta see how better Trae has really gotten. And even then, how much more better can he get? And the only way I see that is him being maybe a little bit more efficient not turning the ball as much, and maybe having and not being such a defensive liability. And then the Hawks could maybe improve their seeding. Maybe if they can be top 5 seeding in the East, and he's playing phenomenal. Let's just say he's averaging 30 plus points per game and averaging maybe 9-10 assists a year. I think that would definitely put him in the MVP voters. So coming in under him, right? Jaylen Brown, right? So plus 10,000, right? We just seen Jaylen Brown going to this from the NBA Finals, and he had the best stats on the Celtics in the NBA Finals. Now, Jaylen Brown, do I see him winning an MVP this year or an MVP in the future? Probably very, very slim. But his window is very huge. Honestly, with Jaylen Brown, he's probably one of the biggest mystery factors on this list. I mean, you don't know what type of player you're really going to ultimately get at his peak. Like with Jason Tatum, you kind of have an idea, but with Jaylen Brown, there's still a lot of question in the air whether on what type of player he's going to be down the line. And I'm not saying that it's going to negatively affect him. I think it only gets better for Jaylen Brown from here. But do I think the plus 10,000 Jaylen Brown for MVP is a good bet? I don't think that's a good bet at all.
But it's also too high. He should be lower. With what he's done last season, at times he was better than Jason Tatum. I think he's too high. He should be lower.
You think he's too high?
Maybe he should be like plus 7,000, plus 8,000.
No, so you're saying he should be higher. If you're saying he's plus 7, so you're saying he should be higher, not lower. You say he's too high.
Yeah, I meant that.
No, you meant to say that he needs to be higher, not too high.
Yeah, I meant you should be higher on the list. Okay. With what he's done last season, if he keeps it up, I think he's definitely going to be in the talks. Just to say he win it, no, but
I don't even think in the talks. I'll be honest. I think, and like I said, whenever I say things like this, I'm not trying to have an indictment on players and say, oh, they're not good enough to win the MVP. It's just you kind of have an idea of what you're going to get when you're looking into the season. Like, a lot of these players are going to play fantastic. They're going to be great players. But with that being said, he has a lot of competition, right? So just with Giannis alone in the conversation, that right there is going to put him, in competition with Giannis, and it's a very slim chance he gets that over Giannis and Joel Embiid too. So you have two to three MVP candidates in the East. So you would have to essentially compete with those two guys for the MVP, which I think is a very tough competition. And then coming in under him, so for plus 12,500 is Brandon Ingram, Jamal Murray, De'Aaron Fox, and Zach LaVine. So those are the players that have plus 12,500 for MVP voting. Brandon Ingram, I can't wait to see what type of player he is. Honestly, he has a lot of great upside in his career. I think he could win MVP in his career. It wouldn't surprise me, but that's probably way further down the line. Maybe within his 10th, 11th year. Maybe not win it. Maybe that's a little bit too much, but he could probably be in the conversation, maybe top 5. But I don't see that at least within these next 2 years. Maybe in 3, 4, 5 years, we can start to see Brandon Ingram maybe in that conversation. But I mean, I wouldn't bet on that either. I'm just making educated guess in that spectrum. With Jamal Murray, he's coming off a huge injury. So if Jamal Murray was on Bubble Murray, bubble Murray time, then yeah, maybe he could be in that conversation. But just coming off what he's been through and how long he has played, as long as he hasn't been on the court, I don't see Jamal Murray really winning it as of just yet. I mean, I can see him winning a Western Conference Finals MVP, winning the Magic Johnson Award, but I don't see him winning an MVP just yet.
And not over his next year, his teammate next year MVP, 3-time MVP, Nikola Jokic.
He's not going to win 3-time MVP. Bro, he wasn't even in the voting, bro. He wasn't. I mean, ESPN didn't even have him top 5, bro. They didn't even vote him top 5. And I'm telling you, watch. I'm telling you, you keep thinking that, bro. Well, I mean, honestly, bet that line, bro. Bet that line that Jokic is going to win MVP, and since you believe in him so much. He's not going to win. I'm telling you this now, bro. He's not going to win 3 straight MVPs. You know that, right?
All right. I'm gonna just pull up on my Lambo that I'll win next year.
No, sure.
That I'll get next year with this money.
No, you know what? And you're gonna get repoed, bro. It's gonna be repoed because you bet too much on Jokic. I'm telling you now, bro. Yeah, these are people voting, right? These are people voting for MVP, right? So they gave him. Remember, these voters, they gave him his just due because of the historic season. Once you have an historic season, you can't really. The ceiling gets even higher. And then it's hard to even climb the ceiling it's hard for you to climb that ladder, a ladder that you've already climbed and you've already triumphed. So the only other thing that people are looking from Jokic is postseason success. They're not looking for regular season success anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, there's other players who could have won MVP in the year, but you know what? But a lot of voters, they had something in the back of their mind. It's like, you know what? Something I need to look for something else from this guy. Like you gotta look at the fact that he's lost in the past 2 years in the postseason, bro. And to some voters that matters, bro. Especially how you lose and where you lose. In excuses is not a. In a lot of instances, and at least in this case, might not fly with him, bro.
We'll see.
You don't gotta see, bro. We know. You know what I'm saying? So, another play, and then like I said, man, you keep forgetting about Giannis, bro. I don't know why you think. I don't know why you think he's just a fly-by race with Giannis still in the race, bro. Because I mean, he could have won it this year too. A lot of people were still saying, Giannis could have won it any other year, which is at a certain point. At this point in Giannis's career, he's almost at the level where LeBron was when LeBron won his first championship on the Heat. Once LeBron started winning MVPs and Finals MVPs, and he won a championship, people weren't looking at LeBron and saying, "Oh, is he going to win MVP this year?" Nobody even cared about LeBron winning MVP, bro, because he was already at the top of his game. He had that shit in the past. Like at that point, it's just slim pickings. It's just it would just benefit him, but he doesn't really gain too much from just winning another MVP. Even though it would be very good for his career. But like I said, he's not looked at as somebody who needs to win another one, who needs to do something in his career. Jokic needs to do something. He has something where he needs to live up to, and that's the career of an MVP. And right now, he's won an MVP, but he doesn't have an MVP career, bro. You know what I'm saying? And I mean that. And when I say that, I'm not saying, huh?
No, continue.
No, say what you gotta say.
Well, you see, like you said, with Giannis, it was the same thing for Giannis as for Jokic right now. As long as Jokic wins the chip next year, that's all that matters.
Yeah, but even like I said, bro, that's very slim pickings, bro. Like you're banking on the Nuggets winning the championship, bro. And I'll tell you, there's not a lot of people headed in that direction. Now, like I said, be fair, they do have a really good team this year. This is probably their best year and their best opportunity to win a chip. But do I see that happening? Absolutely not. I don't see it happening. I don't see them getting past the second round. Um, but yeah, man, that's just how I see it happening. That's just how I see it flying, man. So, um, Jokic for the better part, bro. He has to. I think he can win another MVP. I'm not saying he won't win another MVP. I just think this year he's not going to win it because just based off what we've seen in the past, uh, it's almost like with voters, right? With Jokic, it's almost like we've seen it already. Show me something new. You get what I'm saying? That's almost what it's like, bro. It's like show me something new. We've already seen you have this fantastic season. Now, what can you build off that? You get what I'm saying? Like in order for the Nuggets at this point, in order for Jokic to win another MVP, the Nuggets would have to be the best team in the West, or top two team in the West, and he would have to be playing phenomenal again. And even then, there's still some people who might have a bias against him, just because of how his playoff exits in the past 2 years, right? So that's that too, and so we can go back on the list. We can just kind of scroll back up there, so we can kind of just give you like the top again. So for those who might have missed in the beginning of the video, so you see right there, Luka, Joel Embiid, Giannis, Jokic, Kevin Durant, and then Jason Tatum are your top 5 players for betting odds in Vegas Insider, right? So this is only Vegas Insider. It just gives I don't know how they necessarily get their information or how they rack it up. I mean, hey, it's Vegas Insider. They get it from the sports books. So we just got to take it from there, right? But everybody has their own, their own betting odds. Everybody, they come up with their own analysis on, who's to win MVP or not. I mean, hey, Luka was on there for the past 3 seasons, and we've seen him come up short. I mean, Giannis has already won 2, so he's still in the prime of his career, so he still has a really good chance to win it. Embiid, right? He's never won one, but he's clearly shown that he's capable of winning one. So I can definitely see that this year, Joel Embiid, with all intents and purposes, if he were to stay healthy, he can win one. Jokic could be in the running. Like I think he could be. I think he could be a top 3 candidate just like this year, but I think it would be a landslide. I still think he would lose this year. With Kevin Durant plus 1100. He just needs to really stay healthy. That's just bottom line with Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant just needs to stay healthy, and depending on what team he plays on next year. And then Jason Tatum, right? So Jason Tatum at plus 1200, first time All NBA selection this year for All Pro voting. So we're excited to see it. It's great to look at this list. This is gonna be up for you guys. Like I said, I'm going to put the link in the description. So by the end of this video, you guys will be able to tap in into the link and check that out for your guys' assessment, right? So that is the end of the whole NBA MVP.
You skipped 2 players. You were supposed to draw the line and Zach LaVine. You skipped him and
bro. They're not going to no MVP, bro. I didn't skip them, bro.
But the thing is about Zach LaVine, he literally falls under the description you said for MVP. He's a top player on the team that's top 2 or top 3.
No, they're not top 2 or 3, bro. No, they're not. In the
last season, they were.
Come on, bro. Let's be honest here. When the Raptors were the top seed in the East, was DeMar DeRozan gonna win MVP? Like, come on, bro. Like, we just named the top 5 people on this list: Embiid, Luka, Jokic, Jason Tatum, Kevin Durant. Come on, bro. You really think Zach LaVine is gonna have a breakout year over these guys?
No.
Okay, there you go. That's why I skipped them. That's why I skipped Zach LaVine. and like I said, I'm not having no indictment on him, bro. It's just like I said, it's you already know. It's everybody knows what this conversation is like. So I'm not the only one that thinks or acts like this. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, he's definitely an all-star. I can see Zach LaVine being maybe second team All NBA. Second team is very slim, but third team, he would have to really come up, bro. But MVP, hell no, bro. I don't see no MVP season coming from Zach LaVine, bro. Come on now. I would just be wasting breath at this point. And plus, look at the odds, man. The odds is like, let's see, like plus
12,500, huh?
Yeah, it was 12,500, man. So I don't really need to elaborate on why a guy is not going to win an MVP. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, right? So this concludes our video for NBA MVP voting for the year, right? So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Again, thank you guys all for tuning in into the stream on CashSports. Please like and subscribe to the channel. It helps me out. It helps the channel out, so we can continue to give you guys this content. We hope you guys find this video very informative. We hope you guys are using this as resource for your picking, right? So, like I say, anything that we say, anything that I say, it's very opinionated. So do not take my word for granted when I talk about these things, right? It's only simply a conversation. But at the end of the day, you can hop on here too, and you can have your own opinion on some of these betting lines too. So I'm going to be doing NFL here pretty soon in regards to NFL betting lines also. So that's something to look forward to. So I hope you guys can take this information and use it responsibly. Do not, don't. If you have a gambling problem, get some help, please. I wouldn't want any of my subscribers, getting into a gambling addiction and getting messed up, based off all these betting lines. So please bet responsibly. Please put your money responsibly. And if you have any money problems, you shouldn't be betting in the first place, right? So just be responsible there. And I hope you guys are doing well. You guys are having a fantastic Friday. I hope you guys are having a wonderful weekend. And stay tuned on that football preseason games, man. Like I said, when football season starts coming around, it's going to be very, very football heavy. I'm just trying to give you guys as much NBA as possible, just so keep things going, keep things, keep the pot stirring for a little bit. So, with that being said, so Artem, you got anything else you want to add to before we let the good people go?
Just usual, like, subscribe, and just wait for the new vids to pop up.
I got you. All right, man. So, let you go. So there you have it, guys. So, like I said, this is me concluding the video at this moment. Thank you all for streaming in, and have a wonderful time. This is CashSports.